ShartimusPrime, ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it. Taking bad hits, taking bad shit. Subscribe for things.
Better right bell. Hey, what's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here doing another Marvel Legends toy review on the Marvel Legends Deathlok figure. I have to say, this is probably one of the most underrated figures from the Marvel Legends line of all time. This is a spectacular figure, just not an incredibly popular character. That's the problem with Deathlok here. I don't really know too much about Deathlok, you know, and I know that I think there's a couple of different Deathloks out there, and I believe that he was working with S.H.I.E.L.D. I know that he's part of one of the X-Force teams, whether it's Uncanny or regular X-Force, I don't know. I'm not up to date with X-Force, so I actually picked up an extra Deathlok right here at the Ceremony Toy Show so I can make a custom to, you know, try to fill out the X-Force team. But this guy, I mean, just alone is just really, really well made. It's got everything. It's got paint sculpt, it's got articulation. I mean, that's all I really ask for, to be honest with you. Now, I do have one gripe. I guess I'll get into the negative first, is I don't like this tubey thing right here that plugs into his chest. I'm just not a big fan of it. I was looking up online. There are a lot of versions where he doesn't have this, but the earlier renditions of Deathlok, he does have the tube coming out of him. But there's a lot of comics where he doesn't, and I felt that they could have gotten away without doing that. But, you know, it's not too much of a big deal. This one I did buy loose. My original one, this is still plugged in here. So if you want to, you can remove the plug that, you know, that goes into his chest. And it's just kind of a hindrance having it plugged in there and having him hold his weapon. Now, he does have a peg in his hand right here sticking out, and then there's a peg hole in the gun, so he's meant to hold it in his right hand, and you just, you know, put it in the hole, and then you know, you have him like that. But it's always kind of in the way a little bit. I don't know, I don't like it. And since I have this removed, I like to tuck it away behind the backpack right here. So I think that looks just a little bit cooler, you know, going like that. Another thing that you could do is plug the gun into the side of his backpack right here. So you have this other notch coming out the side of the gun and on this side of the gun as well. But you can only plug it in onto this side and it'll stay like that. And, you know, just imagine that this wasn't removed at all. Got that back in there, so that's kind of his, you know, can have him doing a relaxed kind of stance and have his weapon loaded like that. But the peg thing doesn't stick out on this side. You can only do it on this side right here. Another neat thing about this backpack deal is if you have one of the clear stands, the Marvel Legends clear stands, you can shove this in here and it will stay pretty well. You could wiggle it around. Eventually he'll fall out, I guess, but you know, you can have him standing, you know, with this thing like that. So I think that works out pretty damn cool. That's cool. Actually, let's show the detail on just the gun itself, which actually does look pretty sick. Oh yeah, time to kick it into HD, baby, yeah. Click that button at the bottom right, wait for it to load. And here we go with the paint applications right here at the bottom. Black and silver right here. So, you know, pretty good paint detail for just a gun. I dig it. Oh, look at that face. Oh man, look at that cyborg face. He looked like a zombie or something, man. That is so cool. I just love this. Look at that sculpt and paint detail in there. Fantastic, man. You could really see how well they painted even the inside of the eye right there. I think that is very cool. I just love the colors that they used. You even see that the teeth have like some kind of grime on them and everything. See, inside of his, he looks like a zombie. I just think that's very cool. But of course he is a cyborg. I really like the metal here. It looks like it's black painted with silver over it, I think. I don't know. But I like the variations of colors right there. Again, the sculpt is fantastic. Looks like there's something going on in his cyborg eye right there. I don't know. Looks like crosshairs or something, but very, very cool looking. There's his little fro right there, painted in all the creases and everything. Very cool. You do have some red kind of coming through onto this part of his neck. What I really like here is that they have this cool shiny red paint going on, and it actually has shading, so I think that's pretty neat. It kind of resembles the TMNT figures, NECA TMNT figures. I really like how this, you know, his cyborg arm came out and everything. See the detail in the hands. Just really love the detail throughout this whole figure, again with the shiny paint right here. Now on the original pictures, I guess on the prototypes, he did have the American flag right here on the side, and this hole was a lot smaller and they didn't show the tube. So I think that would have looked a little bit cooler, even though I like how this came out just a little bit more. I think that circle they had on there was a little farther down. Got some kind of like a beige gold application right here. Now what I really like that I noticed on the legs is that not only do they have, you know, this silver and black going on, but they have this light blue painted over across the top to really highlight the parts of the thigh that are exposed to the most light. I think that's really cool. Even right here and right here. Look at that. They just went all out, man. Love this thing. Very well done. He does have peg holes at the bottom of his feet. And just so you know, Deathlok does stand about just a little over 6.5 inches tall. So like I said before, I love the articulation on this guy. His head moves very far up. Very cool. I like that a lot. Moves down very far, side to side, just fine. He has armpit joints. Yeah, I love those armpit joints. And they even painted those with great detail as well. Look at that. Great, just on the armpit joint. Isn't that sick or what? Ball jointed shoulder, which I think a lot of people have said that they don't like these kind of ball joints on the shoulder. I don't mind, you know, especially when you get them posed, it doesn't really stick out as much, but ball jointed shoulder, and you can move it forward and outward, of course. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. He has forearm articulation, wrist moves up and down, and he has finger clamping action all the way over here. All 4 fingers clamped together. Now this is pretty interesting. He has a diaphragm joint, but it just moves a little bit. Not a whole lot, but you can move it a little bit like that. Doesn't really move forward and back too much, but he has the ab crunch, so that's cool. He's got the ab crunch, and he has a waist joint. What I like about this little diaphragm joint, which is kind of neat, is that you could have him turn right here at the waist and then right here just a little bit, so it makes it a little bit more fluid instead of, you know, kind of having this gap going, you know. Anyway, he has a hip articulation, moves forward and out, upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, boot rotation right here. His feet move up and down, and he has, oh, look at those Deathlok toes. Oh, look at the love they give those Deathlok toes. Look at those Deathlok toes. Those are some freaky looking patas. Love those Deathlok toes. And he has toe articulation right there. And of course, a magnificent ankle pivot. Look at that. That is some classic Toy Biz. Beautiful, beautiful ankle pivot. Love that. Love that, love that. I really like the choices of plastic they made for the joints on this thing. Now, the color right here in the hinge is slightly different from the red right here, and I just think they did a great job of choosing a color that would blend in perfectly. I thought that was great. Same thing with the ball jointed shoulder up here. This is a different color than this right here, but it, you know, I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not, but this has a much shinier paint than this. I just think they did a great job. So as I did not mention before, this was released in the Galactus wave, and so that was a while ago, I believe 2005. I don't know how hard he is to get a hold of. I don't think he's very difficult to get a hold of. He's always been one of the cheaper figures. I remember him being a peg warmer back in the day, so he's not too hard to get if you want to pick him up. He's a very cool figure. You can have him with your SHIELD agents or throw him in there with your X-Force figures if you want to, I guess. So, yeah. Hope you guys liked my review, and I will catch you later. Peace. Today's ACBA pick of the day goes to the D-Man ACBA. Very, very cool display right here. I love the use of these cutouts. I don't think this is photoshopped. It looks like that's actual cutouts that he had placed on the figure and he had placed in the foreground of the picture. Just a really badass pick. I really like the background too. It's just very, very cool all around. If you have not done so, go to the ACBA group page, like page, and don't forget to go to bkbn.net.
That's crispy.